I knew that Muslims are generous people, but I did not realize that Muslims who otherwise struggle economically are more generous than our neighbors. And I'm not saying that. Someone who knows and has done surveys is saying it. And that is Dr. Shariq Siddiqui. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Dr. Shariq Siddiqui is an assistant professor at the Indiana University, and he has recently been co-author of a major report. Let's talk to Professor Siddiqui.
Pleasure to be part of this conversation today. Yeah, the really exciting news is part of our Muslim American Giving 2021 survey is that while Muslim Americans tend to be are economically poorer than the general population in the United States, they actually give more, and nearly 20 to 30% more than the average household in America. And that's exciting news because it's such a small community. In fact, while Muslims represent only 1.1 percent of the population, they give last year they gave $4.3 billion, which which means around 1.4% of all individual giving in the country last year. And it's this is an exciting news, and for a long period of time, there were. And what the other interesting piece about this is that 85% of all of that givings remains in the United States. While Muslims are a diaspora community, they give 15% outside to causes all over the world, like everybody else in the United States. But 85% largely stays in the country, largely focused around areas of poverty relief here in the US.
That's amazing. General impression which I might have was that Muslims are giving more because they are facing more disaster around the world, Somalia and Afghanistan and other places. But you are saying that majority of our contributions stay in the United States. What is the nature of these contributions in the United States?
Sure. So in the United States, Muslims give to houses of worship, masajid. But interestingly enough, Muslims give less to houses of worship than any other faith community. And prior research from Institute for Social Policy and Understanding has also kind of validated that. In fact, Muslims only give 24% of their giving that they give within the Muslim community to their houses of worship, as compared to 51% of the general American household. So Muslims give to houses of worship, to the masjid, the Islamic centers, but at lower rates. Where they give at higher rates are issues of domestic poverty. So hungry in your local community, the poor in your local community, and so on. They give higher rates to civil rights, not just civil rights for the Muslim community, but for civil rights for other communities. For example, Muslim support for Black Lives Matter is amongst the highest compared to other faith communities. And then the third area that really stood out for 2020 was COVID relief. Muslims give nearly double than the average American household towards causes impacted by COVID. So, for example, if you've lost a job, Muslims are more likely to help that person with their economic circumstances during COVID. If someone is hungry and needed food during the COVID pandemic, Muslims were more likely to give money towards that. If we need research related to healthcare, that was an area. So these are some causes. So these three areas really stood out. Civil rights, COVID relief, and domestic poverty relief were really important drivers of Muslim giving, which represents 85% of Muslim giving remains in the United States.
That's amazing. It validates some of the information which I had anecdotally. For example, the ACLU, they wanted to partner with us in a press conference because within 24 hours or a couple of days of Muslim ban, they raised more than $24 million. Probably not by all Muslims, but probably Muslims were donating as well. Same thing happened in a Chicago Food Depository. I was helping a couple of times, and they told us Muslim charity to Chicago Food Depository is number one when it comes to donation of protein and when it comes to largest number of cans collected. So what is driving these numbers?
Sure. One of the interesting things that is remarkable about this study is that Muslims are equal opportunity givers, meaning that Muslims are just as likely to give to Muslim led causes as they are to causes that are led by secular or people of other faiths. And what this tells us about this group, largely, if you look at, we researched on motivations of giving, and ultimately, Muslims wanted to help people that were less fortunate, and compassion was the number one driver of Muslim philanthropy. And so, when we think about that, Muslim Americans, look at the problem they want to solve, look around to see who is best equipped to solve that problem and who's willing to engage with them, and then they connect and make those donations. So organizations like ACLU, organizations like your local food charities and pantries who are engaging and connecting with Muslims are more likely to be recipients of donations, because Muslims Americans are looking are to give to whomever they can to further the cause of social equity, social justice, and to alleviate poverty. I think one of the second part to your question is that in reality, one of the pieces that we found is that Muslims that happen to be more practicing or more that show that they are more religious are more likely to give than compared to people that are less religious in terms of praying and other forms. And what that suggests is that because in Islam there's this really important emphasis of giving charity towards poor, giving charity towards people in your communities and toward where you live. I think those things are kind of sort of coming through and are part of our findings.
This is simply amazing. I wish more of America will know about these things which Muslims are doing. But one of the things you mentioned is that Muslims in America gave more to Black Lives Matter movement as compared to other faith communities. While most of the blacks are Christians, what are the reasons for Muslim community to be giving more for Black Lives Matter causes?
Absolutely. So, as you know, Muslim Americans are only 1% of the population, but are highly diverse. African Americans, Arabs, South Asians make up a lot, and Latinos make a big part of the population. And within Muslim Americans, African Americans are a large component. So, one driver of this is the fact that Muslims, there are many African Americans within the Muslim community in the United States. So that's one. The other thing that we find is that there is a realization that the systemic racism that exists in America, that Black Lives Matter is pushing to fight against, will help all Americans. So it doesn't matter whether you're Black or brown or white or whatever your causes may be. Black Lives Matter, even though it articulates the cause of Black people in America, they're exposing broad systemic racism that applies to all. So I think there are those three factors. One, within Muslim community, there are a large proportion are African American, and there is this belief that that treatment of people who happen to be Black is wrong. There is this realization that there's this systemic racism, and this impacts all of us. And then finally, in Islam, there is this theological connection between equality and equity and anti-racism that is also speaking to some of this support.
Professor Siddiqui, one of the question I would like to ask you is, have you seen across the ethnic communities within Muslim community, how is the distribution? Are they equally generous, or there are some more generous than the others?
Sure. So I think that's a really important question. We aren't seeing at this stage, we've been looking through the data, but we haven't seen variations in giving based on ethnicity, whether you're African American, Arab, South Asian, Latino, and so on. What we are seeing across the board are similarities in motivations of giving, compassion, empathy, and so on. And we're seeing across the board connections with engagement around domestic poverty and civil rights. So we haven't seen major changes depending on ethnicity at this stage.
Well, Professor Shariq Siddiqui, thank you so much for your work. Tell us a little bit about your institution.
Thank you. Really excited about this work. The Muslim Philanthropy Initiative is part of the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy at Indiana University. We're the first school of philanthropy in the world, and focuses on upskilling and building up Muslim philanthropy across the globe through training, education, research, and convening. And so we've been very excited that we are doing this annual survey in partnership with Islamic Relief USA that will sort of look at the size, scope, and motivations of Muslim giving on one side. We've been partnering with Muslim Legal Fund of America to look at the challenges that Muslim nonprofit organizations face in America. We've also doing some research on zakat and sadaqah and waqfs and so on. And we're also working with the John Templeton Foundation in building a network of Muslim philanthropists. So, using research, we've also partnered with the Zakat Foundation Institute to sort of create a fellowship program where Muslims from all over the world can sort of get a master's program at the School of Philanthropy. We've added courses on Islam to our curriculum. So I teach a course on Muslim philanthropy at the graduate level. Dr. Abbas Barzigar teaches a class on Muslim humanitarianism. And there's actually a website that our students have produced called muslimhumanitarianism.org. In addition to that, we also provide training. We have been at the Lilly School, we have something called the Fundraising School. It's a professional development school. And we've been training nonprofit practitioners all across the world for 40 years. We train around 7,000 people every year. And so we've been spending time taking this training to Muslim populations and have had a really successful run there. So really focus on research, education, training, and convening power of the institution, and sort of highlighting the work that Muslims are doing, finding ways in which Muslim nonprofits can be better, and ultimately sort of helping build the broader field of philanthropy. We have a really important project called Pluralism and Philanthropy, where we're trying to see how philanthropy can be more equitable, and we're drawing on Muslim theology and past Muslim practice to sort of help inform these conversations. So it's an exciting opportunity for us. We've grown incredibly. It's probably one of the largest research teams studying Muslims in one institution. We have a team of around 20 people that are working on either grassroots community research or on these big picture questions, and just really excited about the work that we're doing and highlighting some really interesting sort of understudied areas. Muslims, we don't know enough about Muslims, even though Muslims globally are 1.6 billion people. In the United States, they're very scrutinized, small minority, but we don't know enough. And so we're really excited to sort of move the needle on that knowledge so that we learn more about how Muslims give, how Muslims smile, how Muslims engage in civic action. One of the things that we don't know about Muslims is that Muslim definitions of philanthropy are broader. Smiling is considered to be charity. If you're about to say and do something and you find that that's going to cause harm, you don't do that. And the implications of this broader definition of theology is profound, because it allows us to engage with more people in the act of philanthropy rather than focusing on the very rich. And so these are some of the things that we're working on.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Shariq Siddiqui, for being with us and for your work. And I look forward to seeing the study of how Muslims smile.
Thank you so much for including me in this conversation and for the work that you do for all of us. So thank you so much for having me today.